We are 4 weeks away from the sub-3 marathon attempt, the Boston qualifying attempt. Yeah, next week I have a race. So my first race of the year. So it's the race is Eyeball the Wall. It's a 30-kilometer road race. It's down, if I'm in Calgary, so it's around the Glenmore Reservoir.
Kilometer division, Liam McVarnock. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see the time. He looked fast from the start. I saw this guy. I thought, oh man, they better watch out. 2 hours, 6 minutes, 4.
Oh yeah. I am doing my long run today and I'm trying a new hydration strategy. So I have a big jar of carbs, electrolytes, lemon lime powder. So usually I run in the vest combination. I'm gonna make a video about this. There's 4 ways I see that you can approach the marathon fueling it. 1 is the vest, 2 is a handheld, which I did yesterday and I'll try and get a video of that, but I hated the handheld. 3 is using the aid stations. So for me, I'm doing a 3-hour run today. That means I did my 40-minute warm up. I have a 1-hour tempo set now. So I did 40 minutes loop away from my house, circled back home, just took a piss, gonna pound a bunch of carbs, like probably about 90 grams in this jar with like 2 or 3 grams of salt, which is a lot of salt actually. I might not drink all this. And then I'm gonna run out there and I'm gonna do an hour-ish on this lap in the fast lap. With, again, I'm running with nothing. I have nothing in my hands. Don't even have my keys with me. Back door's open. My roommate's home. I'm going to bring a gel with me. So I have these are the gels I've been liking lately. So it's a Beta Fuel 40-gram gel from Science and Sport. And on the Calgary Marathon course, they have these Exact bars. So I'll bring one of these just in case I feel like I need that extra oomph. Usually I'll pound many, many liters of water when I'm running, but again, for the marathon, like I don't want to carry that extra weight if I don't need to. I've been cutting weight for a reason. So bring this, I'll bring the Beta gel with me. I'm gonna go hammer some more. Pace feels good right now, and I will check back in with you guys to let you know how this goes. All right guys, 2 rounds in. As you can see, I'm pretty dehydrated, a little bit dicey. Not bad that way. I'm gonna zoom in. Oh yeah. All right guys, so just did the second round. I'm 21.5 kilometers into this run. So I'm an hour 40 in. That last hour felt pretty good. So I brought 2 gels with me. I drank 1.5 of those Beta Fuel gels. That's about 60 grams of carbs. No fluids though, so I just got back, slammed a bunch of fluids. I got more Gatorade Endurance in here, salt, and water. Slammed maybe, I don't know, I want to say 600 milliliters or so when I got back. So now we're gonna go bang, bang, bang. I'm gonna slam this. I'm kind of risking stuff. This is on the course in the Calgary Marathon. So I might eat half of this because this is 100 calories. So this is 25 grams of carbs. So eat some of this, slam some more fluids, and then I'm gonna go for 1 more lap. It was about 13 kilometers that lap, so I only have the one. Oh, I'll bring that half that gel with me because I'm out of gels. I only have half a gel left. So this last hour, I'm gonna be taking some chances. I might burn out a bit. It's hard coming in and stopping and taking fuel in. Obviously this wouldn't happen on race day, but the first like kilometer after, the legs feel heavy and the stomach's like, you just dropped like a liter bomb into it with like 60-90 grams of carbs. So it's a lot for your body to take at once. The book I'm reading right now, RP Diet for Endurance Athletes. They encourage you to take like a small amount of carbs or fluids every like 10 minutes or 15 minutes to basically help with speeding up digestion. And also our digestive system works faster if our stomach's always topped up with like 0.8 to 1.5 liters or so. So this is risking it a bit, but again, on race day, there'll be aid stations every couple miles, 2 miles probably. I tell you one thing though, this option, I feel fast. Obviously I'm carrying nothing, right? I hated the water bottle. I think it's a shitty product. I'm very usually not a tough critic, but that Nathan bottle, I really didn't like the 22 ounce Nathan bottle. All right, so that's almost done. I might actually, maybe just a little bit, if I can risk it a bit there. So I'll chew a little bit of this. One thing to bear in mind too is that when you, the concentration of the carbs, so the amount of fluids you have, I'll try and put some kind of chart maybe. But if I have this, which is solid, and there's a carb, not much water, and I drink a bunch of carb dense fluid, that increases the concentration in my stomach. So the chances of having upset stomach, especially if you're dehydrated, that's a different story, but if you're dehydrated, your digestive system gets worse. And if you take in too much dense carbs without enough water, your digestive system gets worse. So again, I'm taking some risks right now, but this is what you do. You risk stuff in your training. I'm gonna tuck the last little bit of this in case I need it when I'm running. You risk stuff in training so it doesn't happen to you on race day, right? I've had the runs the last couple days. Sorry, TMI for some of you guys, but I also took, it says Imodium. It basically stops you. It saved me in Southeast Asia a few times when you have diarrhea and you don't know if you'll make a minibus trip safely to your destination and they don't have bathrooms. But I took one of those today too, and my stomach feels amazing. You can see the bottom of it. It's very dense. All right, guys. Whew, last hour. I'll put all the stats up, all that stuff, but let's finish off strong, yeah? Okay, recap from the long run. So just did the final loop, so loop number 3, and personally, now this is going to be different for you guys. I encourage you to try all methods, but I'm going to try this method again next week because I really like how it went. So basically what I did was I did a 40-minute loop from my house, which is my usual running route, so I know where I was going, about 8K. Came back and chugged about, let's say, 800 milliliters of fluids. That's a guess. In that 800 milliliters of fluids, there was probably close to 90 grams of carbs, at least 2, maybe 3 grams of sodium. And that was it, basically. I took 2 gels with me, as you guys seen in the video. Those are Science in Sport Beta Fuel gels. They are a 1 to 0.8 ratio of glucose to fructose. Now, if you don't know this, basically in our bodies, when it comes to digesting carbohydrates and energy, imagine you have a highway. If you're taking in just glucose, you have 1 lane. And if there's too much traffic on that highway, what happens? You get a bottleneck. Now, it's the same thing in our body. So if you only have 1 source of carbs, you're going to get a bottleneck with how many carbs you can absorb at once. But if you have a mixture of glucose and fructose, these are different types of sugars, you now have 2 lanes on your highway. So you can absorb, hypothetically, up to double the amount of carbs at once. Now, there is an upper limit on both these. Based upon the literature I've read, I didn't check the sources on it. If he's wrong, I'm wrong. He's a pretty smart dude. I don't think so, though. Apparently, a lot of people tolerate as many as 144 grams of carbs per hour. So if you're an endurance athlete or you're someone interested in it, most people I know, even I talk to my colleagues at work and we're all in the fitness industry, people think that's absurd amount of carbs because it is. So most people underfuel it. So back to today's example. So I came back and I chugged about 90 grams of carbs, let's say, with 3 grams of salt. Then I left and I went and I did a 65-minute loop, which was about, I'll put my pace, my Strava segment or whatever on the screen. I ran about, let's say 13 kilometers in that split or something like that. It felt really strong. And during that time, I took in 1.5 Beta Fuel gels. So I took in 60 grams of carbs while I was out running with no water to chase down those gels. Now, again, if you're new to this game, I'm going to explain the best I can to my knowledge. I could be totally wrong because I, again, am not an expert. Based upon the literature, again, I've read, you want to take in smaller, more frequent boluses of carbohydrates and water because it speeds up that digestion rate. It's like every time we drop something into our stomach, it's a little bit more carbs, but consistently instead of big doses, it speeds up the rate that it empties through the gut. So obviously for something like today, I couldn't really do that, but that's the trade-off because usually I'll run with my running vest and I'll have, let's say, like a liter and a half, no, 1.3 liters, so like 650, 650. I'll carry a liter on my back. But the problem with that is you're carrying a lot of extra weight, plus the vest, plus maybe you bring your phone, all this other stuff. You're carrying many extra pounds. And for someone like myself who's, trying to run under 3 hours, every pound kind of matters. And I'm noticing that now in my running a lot that, the lighter I get, I'm getting weaker in the weight room. There's no doubt about that in my mind, but I'm getting so much faster and my heart rate's down, my effort levels are down. The run I had today was absurd. Like I'll put my thing on the screen. It's probably one of my personal best runs I've ever had. And this was after yesterday having diarrhea and GI upset and stuff. So it just goes to show you, how much it can change day to day. But yeah, so that was sorry, I get sidetracked. But so I took in a gel and a half, so 60 grams of carbs on that run, on the second loop, so 65. So that takes me to about an hour and 40 minutes into the workout. I got back to my house again, immediately peed again. I peed after the first loop too, actually. And then I took in immediately, like, let's say 800 milliliters to maybe a liter-ish this time, with probably about, let's say 70 grams of carbs this time in the jar. I didn't measure the sodium this time, but I did at least 4 or 5 really generous pinches of sodium in there too. Depending on who you are, like when I run, for example, you might not see it now because this is wet, but you can see the salt stains. So if you're someone that runs and when you work out, if your clothes get sweat lines and you're getting salt lines, you're a salty sweater. And I'm a very sweaty guy in general. I'm sure if I jump on the scale, actually, I'll do it after because it might add something interesting to the video. But I probably lost a lot of weight during that run today. And taking in extra sodium is not going to hurt because it's the only real danger in this endurance game when it comes to nutrition is taking in too much water and not enough sodium. And it'd be very hard to drink that much water to put yourself in a dangerous place in marathon distance. So yeah, so that was my second loop. So we're at hour 40, I get back, I pee, I take in 800 to 1 liter-ish of fluids, slammed it from the mason jar. And then I also took in half of an Exact Energy gel bar. They're about 25 grams of carbs. I showed you in the video already. They're 25 grams of carbs, so I ate half of one right before I left and chugged a little bit more water with it. Again, the water, it's if you have a bunch of carb dense foods, you want to take in some water with it to lower the concentration of that of that bolus of food that just went in your body. And then I ran that last hour, the same loop as the second loop. So it's a 13-ish K loop from my house, pretty hilly, a little bit windy today. And I had half of a Science and Sport gel left, half of a Beta gel, and I had half of an Exact bar. So I had 32.5 grams of carbs on that last loop. And again, no water, obviously, in that loop. If you like this stuff, though, and if you are watching, I don't know, shoot me a message or ask a question or drop a comment or tell a friend about it or something. It does motivate me knowing it gives you value, even if there's only one of you out there, 2 of you out there that gets value. That's enough for me. But it's I know it might sound silly, but it is nice knowing that it's interesting or it's inspiring or it's valuable and it's something you're taking this and using this information. So if you guys like this stuff, if it interests you, if you like that, it's all the craze on Instagram right now, that hybrid athlete method. And I guess that's kind of what I am. Even though I play soccer, snowboard, or golf, I don't just do like fitness, I guess, but it is definitely a huge part of my life. So if this is interesting to you, or if you found value in this, give me a holler, give me a shout, comment it, like it, tell a friend. If you like the tarps off content, let me know. I think now that summer's here, I don't think I'm going to be putting a shirt on as much. And yeah, go there, get some, and we will see you guys next week or the week after or whenever I do the next video. Cheers to the pickle jar.